So I've been producing the Common Sense Academy for a couple of years now, and here on this show we cover sovereign citizens, First Amendment auditors, and other bad actors. Now, the United States is surely the leader and likely the genesis, the creator of the sovereign citizen movement. But for a long time, I thought that the number two country in this movement was Great Britain, the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Ireland. But I have to say, from what I have observed recently over the past year, I think Australia is going to take the cake as number 2 to the United States in the sovereign citizen movement. And I'm about to tell you a story from December 17th of this year that tells you exactly why Australia is perhaps the new runner-up in the sovereign citizen movement. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Sense Academy. I'm your host, Joe Palmetto, Joe the Lawyer. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Those are free ways to support the show. If you feel like making a financial donation, well, what you should do is simply buy my book. Buy my book that I wrote on sovereign citizens. I don't know if you can get one in time for Christmas, but you can get one shortly after Christmas, which is almost as good. They're available on Amazon, and you can find the link in the description below. Before we dig into this sovereign citizen news story out of the great and wonderful country of Australia, please raise your cup, your glass in the air. Cheers with me. It tastes better when we sip together today. I got some iced tea. I already drank most of it down while I was researching this video. I've been very thirsty today. Cheers. Very good, very good. Okay, this story is from Down Under. Daniel Andrews' treason case rejected. That's, I believe that is the premier of the province of Victoria, or the state of Victoria, which is a state or province of Australia. A private prosecution brought by a Victorian man against Premier Daniel Andrews has been struck out by the court. The prosecution brought by Anthony Herman, alleging Mr. Andrews was concealing an overt act of treason, was due to be heard in Myrtleford Magistrates Court on Friday morning. It's understood the Premier, who was this week ordered to test and isolate after coming into contact with a COVID-19 positive case, did not attend in person or online. The online hearing cut out before the matter was heard, but AAP has confirmed the case was struck out. That's an interesting legal term, struck out. We're going to get to that. The magistrate issued an order noting, "Charge issue not served." Criminal procedure rules require charges brought against a person be served on them, and magistrates have the discretion to discontinue cases where there's been a failure to comply. Outside court, Mr. Herman said he would not give up and claimed the failed prosecution would continue in the Supreme Court. He said he would also file charges against staff at Myrtleford's court who had been involved in Friday's case, claiming there had been horrendous corruption and accusing them, alongside Mr. Andrews, of concealing treason and fraud. What people need to understand is our Constitution has been trespassed upon, a favorite saying of sovereign citizens, and stolen from us as we sat around and watched, he said. Until we stand up together in a peaceful way, use our brains in a legal way, you're not doing that, sir, we are not going to change this. More than 900 people attended the online hearing, including many who opposed the Premier and Victoria's coronavirus regulations. It quickly descended into chaos, with people talking, sharing their screens, and posting images of Mr. Andrews. One image styled Mr. Andrews as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. We're going to take a look at that image. The massive number of people in the online hearing caused delays in the Premier's case and others due to be heard in the small local court. Seriously, this is a joke. Some of us are here for legitimate court cases and are being held up by all of you and the palava you are creating. Find another focus and move on, one woman said. Throughout the pandemic, online meeting users have become used to being told you're on mute. But on Friday, the opposite issue occurred with dozens of participants seemingly unable to mute their microphones. Some took phone calls, others used it as a chance to share their rally cry, "Sack Dan Andrews," and one person observed it had become a clown show. Some speculated it was a conspiracy designed to distract from the actual hearing, sharing their theories in the chat function. Is this a decoy? Where is the judge? Someone with the username Sovereign Law wrote, "That's a username I approve of." "Looks like a fake meeting to me, just to piss people off," Debbie added. One woman, going by the name Tracy Lucas, said it was nice to see everyone on the link. "We all want the same thing, Dan Andrews and the government to go down," she said. Outside court, there was a crowd of about 100 protesters who gathered for the case. That's a healthy amount. Victoria police confirmed one man was arrested for unrelated matters. So essentially, and I'm going to show you some Twitter screenshots from a local journalist. Essentially, this is an online hearing against this Dan Andrews premier. And it was, what you have to understand, a private criminal complaint, at least that this is apparently how it works in Australia. Maybe anybody can bring it. Anybody can bring one. I don't know the rules. See, in the United States, basically law enforcement has to bring a criminal complaint, but a private citizen can bring one, but the district attorney has to agree to file it. Only the district attorney or prosecuting attorney can file it. So they're able to filter out a lot of the BS that regular citizens want to file in criminal court. It appears in Australia, I don't know, this individual just filed a criminal charge against this guy, and the court gave them a hearing. I mean, that's a little loose if you ask me. But essentially at this hearing, what happened was everyone was having technical difficulties because there were like dozens of people on the Zoom meeting for this court hearing. And it was chaotic. And then the sovereign citizens get off the chaotic Zoom meeting and claim that it was all a hoax, it was all fake, it was all treason because the technology failed. Well, eventually they got it together, and what they did was they dismissed the case. The judge dismissed the case, which they called struck out, which, as you know, in baseball vernacular means to swing and miss on three pitches. Therefore, you're out. So it's funny to hear the word struck out be used in a court case, because I'm used to hearing it in baseball, because this person who brought the private criminal complaint did not properly serve the defendant a basic principle of the law. And here's the most ironic part, is that sovereign citizens make such a big deal about being notified of what the law is and being told what the law is and being informed of what the law is. And here they go, filing a criminal complaint and not properly informing the individual and not properly serving the individual or telling the individual of the case, and then saying that it was all a joke or it was all a hoax or it was all fixed because they didn't do their part to get the case to move forward. Typical backwards, contradictory, circular, nonsensical sovereign citizen logic. But let's see some of the highlights of this hearing. This is a journalist in Victoria, Karen Sweeney. She was following this hearing on December 16th. There are so many people logged into Myrtleford Magistrates Court this morning for a private prosecution brought against Premier Daniel Andrews. None of them know how to use technology and are not using their microphone. Also, they're absolutely losing their minds over the fact they thought it started at 9:30 a.m. It's actually listed at 10. The poor court staff are trying to shout at people to turn off their microphones. One of the group has declared it's not their job to turn off their own microphones and that the host should do it all at once. Meanwhile, only the individual who's on the screen can control that microphone. Breaking. Please be advised, the matter of A. Herman versus Daniel Andrews was struck out in the Myrtleford Magistrates Court this morning. That's when the judge dismissed the case. A few people have asked why it was struck out. The order issued by the magistrate says charge issued, not served. Charges have to be served on a person before a court proceeding can actually begin. If you don't, there's nothing to actually begin. And this individual, Mr. Andrews, would not have to attend something if he wasn't properly served. And he did not attend, even though he was in COVID protocols. But regardless, he did not attend. And then finally, what you've all been waiting for, what one of the individuals posted about Mr. Andrews, and here's a picture of him, and here's a picture of Mr. Andrews as Kim Jong-un. Someone else has taken over the presenter role and posted this picture. It's causing division again. Bernard, can you please unshare? This, friends of the show, is what the sovereign citizen movement has come to. It's more powerful than ever. It's mixing with all sorts of other conspiracy theories that exist out there in the internet, in the global sphere right now. And it's very unfortunate because we're in a really, really strange place politically. But I'm going to give the cake. The number 2 sovereign citizen nation in the world is going to go to my friends down under in Australia. Listen, if you want a protest to resonate, you need to protest, I think, in a rational way. And you should work to change the laws or remove politicians through the democratic and electoral process, not filing frivolous criminal lawsuits and not even filing them correctly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Common Sense Academy. I'm your host, Joe Palmetto, Joe the Lawyer. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you want to support the show, please buy a copy of my book, Sovereign Citizens. It's available on Amazon, and you can find a link in the description below. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day or evening.